Hello, and welcome back to Battle Plan, a podcast focused on spiritual warfare. I'm Steve Hemphill, and Battle Plan is an ongoing discussion of how we put our faith into action on a daily basis in the modern world. The website is active-faith.org, and my email is stevehemphill1@me.com. I'd love to hear from you and hear your stories of spiritual warfare. Today we have a very special guest who's a very good friend of mine, Shemane Nugent. Welcome, Shemane.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve.
Oh, so excited to have you on it. Shemane and I met a couple of years ago, maybe close to
I
two
don't,
years ago, year and a half,
yeah.
in the Waco area when I was doing a seminar. And she has a great interest in spiritual warfare. She has a book. What was your first book called with the mold problem?
Well, first one was called Married to a Rock Star.
Okay, that's
Then
right.
I then I wrote 4 Minutes to Happy. Then I wrote Killer House, and now I have a new book
Yeah,
that
and
we're
the
going to
Killer
talk about
House.
soon.
Okay, that one's about wellness. The Killer House was about the mold.
Yeah.
And Married to a Rock Star is Ted Nugent's wife. And if you hadn't figured that out yet, and I'll never forget the day that I met her. She came up to me at book table, said, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "No, who are you? You look familiar." "Oh, I'm Ted Nugent's wife." So I got to meet Ted, and I got to come to the house, at their house that's near Waco, and we had a great day. We became friends through that, and I've been on her show several
Yep.
times. I hope I get invited back again. And then she's got a
Anytime.
growing
Anytime.
community that I was a part of recently on I think Sunday nights is when you do your show with your growing community. And we have some similar friends. Nikki Clagle is a good friend of both of ours.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about maybe just a quick a sentence or two about each of your books and what they're about. And then especially I want to focus on the newest book you have. And I actually endorsed that book. And there's a
You
chapter that has
did
to do with some spiritual warfare.
a
So
great endorsement, by the way. Thank you so much. It's funny because I write a book and then I move on to something else. Actually, I'm already writing a novel now. I'm moving on.
oh, good.
But I just bringing up talking about Married to a Rock Star, it made me realize in that book at the end, I talk about problems that Ted and I had in our marriage, and that really, what God put together, no man can separate. And that's what kept our marriage together. But I talk about what it really is like to be married to a rock star. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And this year we're going to be celebrating 36 years, I think. I forget.
Oh, that's
But
amazing.
in that book, I wrote, I think on the back cover, if this book can help just one person, then it's worthwhile. That the effort and the toil and the tears and everything, blood, sweat, and tears that went into writing it and rewriting it and all that. And that's how I feel with all of my books and everything that I do, Steve. I'm not, I'm a child of God. I am a perfect, imperfect human being. And I just keep trying. I just keep, walking, putting one foot in front of the other. And I am going for that. Women talk about what's the look that you're going for? I'm going for well done, good and faithful servant.
Amen.
And did I do enough? Did I do okay? And I really think that a lot of people are just sitting back, letting you and I and Ben Graham and Ted Nugent and so many other people do the work when it doesn't matter where you are in your, not only your walk of faith, but your walk in life.
That's
God
right.
chooses unlikely human beings to do his good work. So I'm going to keep trying.
Very good point. And I want to say that I believe strongly in what you just said. And I think everybody, every one of us, every Christian can reach someone for the kingdom that nobody else can reach. So we need to speak up and say what needs to be said. One of my prayers regularly is help me to be bold enough to know when to speak up and when to shut up.
Yes, that's a good one. I love that.
Okay, go
Yep.
ahead. Tell us about your other books then next.
So I wrote 4 Minutes to Happy, which was kind of about toxic mold, but really more. I've been in the health and wellness industry for 44 years, but who's counting? I've been a fitness instructor, Zumba international presenter, and choreographer. I traveled all over the United States, all over the world, Australia, London, Paris, training Zumba instructors and teaching probably hundreds of thousands of people. And I realized that everybody wants one thing. They want to figure out how to get in shape quick and without giving up their favorite foods and have fun doing it. It's one of the reasons why I still teach Zumba and I keep writing books about health and wellness because my third book, Killer House, is about the tragedy of getting sick and almost dying from toxic mold in my home that was once featured on MTV Cribs. And still, I get questions from so many people that don't understand that this is a big thing. And in fact, in that book, Killer House was #1 on Amazon for 3 months, I think, in 3 different categories for a long time. I am truly blessed, but I also have a spiritual warfare chapter in that book as well.
Well, and I bet you that you were not surprised when one of my first stories in my presentation on spiritual warfare talked about the mold on the walls in the land of Israel in Leviticus. And God said, when you see mold on the walls, call the priest to come in and remove it and inspect it. And I always thought, well, what's that all about? Well, they were idols of gold and silver hidden in the homes. And we have the same problem today. We have idols in our homes, and we need to let God be our only object of worship. So, okay, that's great. So your newest book about health
Yes.
and wellness also specifically had, and this is one reason I was excited to endorse it, it specifically had a chapter on spiritual warfare. So tell us a little about the book and maybe a little bit about that chapter.
So this is a 40-day wellness devotional that it's Bible-based wisdom for weight loss, increased energy, and vibrant health. And I just have to put a plug in for my publisher, Sky Horse Publisher. They published Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book and, drum roll, please, Steve, Melania's book. So
Oh, that's great.
I'm in good company. So
Yes, you are.
this book, I realized that, why aren't people losing weight? If they're showing up to my classes all the time, they're eating the right food. There's so many different things from environment, and I talk about that in this book, toxic mold, hormones. I also talk about, yes, Steve, spiritual warfare, because spiritual warfare, I believe, can feel like an invisible weight on your body, can feel like depression, and it can feel, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, to steal your health, destroy your family, and slowly kill you. So how does it do that other than I know what it's like. I struggled with my weight. I was once 30 pounds heavier than I am now, and it's not easy. It's a daily challenge. I love to eat. I love chocolate chip cookies. So, and I probably not a day goes by that I have a couple pieces of like dark chocolate or something. But, when you think about, when you look at how spiritual warfare can show up, does it not drain your energy? Does it not make you feel bad? And that nagging voice in your head that whispers, you're never going to lose weight. You're never going to get healthy. You're never going to overcome that temptation. All of those things, that's what the devil does, right?
Right. That's right. One of our stickers that we have for the stakes is one that says self-discipline. And also, I teach on heaven because one of my first book was actually on heaven. And when I teach on heaven, I talk about, eternity with God and what that's going to be like. And there's verses that bring up the fact not only are we going to have rewards, we're going to sit down and eat with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I always tell people, if you get to heaven and you're looking for me, find the donut table because I'm going to be there for the first couple of
I
decades.
don't remember you talking about that in your speech that I went to for 4 days. I went to your speech every single day, but I don't remember you talking about that because that surely would have bonded us. I love that.
It would have. I teach that when I talk on heaven. You came to my spiritual warfare seminar.
Yes.
But I really love donuts. That's kind of been my weakness all my life. And I realized that it's not good. I'm diabetic, and so I need to be careful with total calorie intake, with exercising regularly. I recently had a stress test, and they got me on the treadmill, and they said, "Well, are you a runner? Because your heartbeat's only 82." And I said, "No, but I walk an hour a day." "Oh, no wonder. Well, we'll fix that. We need your heart rate up to 130." So they kept increasing the level and increasing the speed. By the time it was over, I'm hanging on. It's going uphill, and I'm running as fast as I can run. And they said, "Okay, are your legs burning now?" I said, "No, my legs are not burning, but I'm getting out of breath." I finally got and it's all about being healthy, thinking about total quantity. And that's why I loved your book and was happy to endorse that. And I often tell people now, I've reached the age where I would rather feel good than eat whatever I want.
Isn't that the truth? I was talking to somebody the other day. I can't remember who it was. And we were talking about, as we age, well, Ted and I, first thing we do when we wake up is, how'd you sleep? If you
Yeah.
get good sleep and you feel good, then, really, we can't do this is the other reason I wrote this book. We can't do God's good work if we don't feel good. Think about when you had a cold or a sore throat or headache or whatever it is, something worse.
Yeah.
We need to be abundantly well. And that's why I wrote this book.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us today. You can find the
Yes.
book on Amazon, right?
Yep. It's
Okay.
available for pre-sale on Amazon right now. Comes
Okay.
out January 7th.
January 7th. Watch for that and look up Shemane Nugent and the other books and look up her podcast, Faith and Freedom. It's a great podcast. It's been a lot of fun for me to be a part of that. She has a lot of great guests. Of course, her husband, Ted, has played the national anthem for many rallies in years past. And anyway, it's fun to have connections with fun people like Ted and Shemane Nugent. Shemane, thank you for being on the program today.
Thanks for having me, Steve. God bless.
Last time I looked, this podcast, The Battle Plan, is being downloaded in 155 countries. So I hope it blesses you. If you see this years after I'm dead and gone, I hope it still blesses you. We are excited to have you part of it. And let me just remind everybody, keep praying because prayer works. God loves you and I love you. Have a great day.